Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beyond Indigo's Facebook Live. My name's Kelly Baltzell, and I'm the CEO and owner of Beyond Indigo Pets. Today, I've moved my little home studio up north, as we say in Minnesota, to the family cabin for a change of pace. And I have a wonderful friend I've known for years, David McCormick, and we're going to talk about virtual connection in a geeky, sort of fun way. So welcome, David.
Thanks. Happy to be here after watching a bunch of these too.
Right.
It's pretty fun.
It is really fun. And you wear many hats. So today we're doing a fun hat, but you also have a hat in the veterinary space, right?
I do. I work for a living.
Darn
for
it.
a while yet. My boys are only 14, so I've got a long way to go. But my day job, I'm a veterinary practice appraiser. So I value practices mostly for management and planning purposes, although the core of what we're known for, facilitating transactions and helping people buy or sell their practice. But when I'm not doing that, I'm with my boys, who are identical twins, 14 years old. And I guess part of the genesis of this was what conversation that we had looking at how we connect when we're on the road, because so many of us travel. And it's hard staying in touch when we're traveling so much.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've had different conversations of the way, and certainly you luck out and get to travel with,
Right.
which I wish I could do. That would be nice, but I can't. So.
No, it's wonderful. And then when you and I are together, we talk kids, and then I'm like, yeah, and you're like, because that's what we do, right? Because we're like, screw work. Let's talk about what's important in life.
Yeah, really.
They're the same ages, and I've always been impressed how you stay connected with the boys, and it's really fun. So do you want to maybe tell us the progression of the connections and like through the electronics and kind of where you, like how that works, where you are now? But you have a really close bond with your boys, but you also make that happen, you know?
It started, they're not big talkers on the phone. So it started through the iPad was, and I don't know if that's coming through, but Minecraft was our initial connection. And because they could do it on their, what was their first one? Little iPods. And they would play, and all four of us, or three of us, Susan wouldn't play, but the three of us could sit in the same room and all play together. And so we created the big world as it became known. And over time, really, it grew. And we have got different cities and achievements we've built. One of the big things we built, I think, the picture coming up, was a soccer stadium, because we're all football fans. And we decided in this world to build and mine, and it's a survival world. So you don't get everything for free. This is the outside of the soccer stadium, and it took about 50 to 100 hours to assemble this, which was fun because it became an accomplishment. And I come home, oh, look, Papa, what we added to this. And we finished the roof, or we got new materials. And it took a long time for the grass to grow on the inside. But it was achievements like this, and building the castle or building the highway that ran from east to west, and connecting that way. A lot of joy and little things, or when one of the mobs would blow up, and then we'd have to rebuild everything. One of the later ones we built, we tore down a mountain and then built a theater. So there's a ticket booth. It's right near the soccer stadium. There's a ticket booth. You go through a tunnel, and then there's all these seats and a stage and the changing room behind. And then we rebuilt the mountain on top of it. So you can't see the theater. You actually enter through the ticket booth and then go under, and you end up underneath the mountain. But it was little things that would allow us to connect. And I was telling you beforehand, the distraction, and you can lose time, something fierce. I got on a plane in Las Vegas at the end of the Western Veterinary Conference, took off, and I get out the iPad, and I'm just going to play Minecraft for a little bit before I try to go to sleep. Next thing I hear, please put your electronics away. We're landing in Detroit. I completely missed the entire flight playing Minecraft. It was
just 4 hours.
Yeah.
for
Went
people
by in a
on that
flash.
flight. Yeah. Wow, that
That
is
was,
so cool. And did you all as a group draw up, like put your heads together and say, okay, this is what the soccer stadium's going to look like? Did you mimic it off a real world one, or are there architectural plans, or?
no, we kind of built it on the fly as we're all chatting and talking with each other. And I come home, oh, Papa, we got these ores and we got so many diamonds and things that are hard to find. It just takes time building these mines and then the nether reactor, trying to get, build everything. So a lot of dialogue in person, and then we'd go apart, do the pieces, and then bring them back together. The
That
more
is so cool.
it was fun, and then the one that we moved from Minecraft into a virtual world when Grant really wanted a VR headset, and
Okay.
so we ended up with two, and then I'd travel with the one. And for those that don't know, you wear this, and it's a virtual world, and then you have these in your one in each hand, so you see this world, and through the internet connection, I'd be in a hotel room wearing my outfit and with my little connectors, and I could meet Grant or Miles. They'd take turns with theirs in this virtual space, and so we could be doing parkour or these different challenges. And as how was school today? What'd you do? Did you get your homework done? And we're climbing mountains and uh, flying the wingsuits. That became a big one. Jumping off the mountains in this little flying squirrel suits and chatting as we're doing this.
Right. Like
Yeah.
you're bonding over the experience, and you are weaving it in the communication part between the experiences part.
And it was a nice way, especially some of those conferences can be pretty long when you get there at the beginning and days away. So it's a nice connection. But if it was just by phone, how was school? That's the end, right?
Right.
But while we're doing these activities together, although it does feel a little bit odd to be in a hotel room and you fall in the virtual world from 10 stories up. Odd sounds. People from the outside don't know what you're doing, but it was fun and a nice way to connect. We're getting ready to start. I'm moving on. I'm learning and growing.
Okay.
We've got the Switch now, and even at home, they're teaching me how to play with the Switch and what to do. And we're currently playing Mario Kart Wii. So every night they're in their rooms and I'm in mine, and we're doing our games and Mario Kart 8. And but I'm getting ready at the end of the month. Animal Crossing. So I'm going to start learning.
Game.
That's the popular one, and this one we can play by distance too. We're hoping that I'm hoping at least we get to travel again. We haven't since March, which has been terrific to be home.
Right.
But I'm really hoping that that travel can kick back in, and now we'll be able to connect in Animal Crossing and get to each other's islands. They've been every night they give me a tutorial. Okay, this is what you have to do.
So you're going to have a little help on the learning curve for that new game there, because the boys are already ahead of you. Okay.
Yeah, I know you buy turnips on Sunday morning, but you got to sell them by the end of the week.
Okay.
So I'm learning.
You're learning. You're getting it done. I know.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Well, the Beyond Indigo crew, a big portion of them are huge Animal Crossing fans. So I hear the chatter about it all the time. And the man behind the camera right now, Will, who's our producer, he's very big into Animal Crossing as well.
Are you playing?
Am I playing? I'm watching. So I'm just kind of listening to the crew and stuff like that. So it's just fascinating to hear about it. I like watching behavioral patterns in humans. I mean, that's kind of like my thing, partly why I'm in marketing, because marketing is all about behavioral patterns, right? but it's interesting and I also like geeking out to code, and I like seeing what captures humans' interest at the current range. So let's say it's Animal Crossing right now, and how the people behind it mastermind the thinking process, right? Like that's a thing. Like there's gamification in there, and then like you said, there's the connecting piece that you can connect with others, which unbeknownst to them, they launched their product, I think in March, right? Like who knew that perfect timing probably for them as a game.
Well, that's switches were really hard to come by. March, April, May. I think in part the timing could not have been better for Animal Crossing. And for all of those, the technology, because for the extent, self-isolation, the only way to connect. I mean, yeah, for a lot of business people, it's Zoom and everything else to the extreme.
Right.
But for regular households, technology really boosted some of that connection when there really couldn't be any.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I know like my brother's a big PS4 guy.
Yep.
And he'll connect with his buddies playing the games that interest them. And I've also noticed, like, because I'm an Apple girl all the way across, like when I go into the Apple store, they'll say like, connect with your games, get this app, and then you can talk while you're gaming, right? So the different technology is coming on board to help enable those connections about it. So that's interesting, because we are changing, we are adapting, we do that as human beings, but what's going to come out of this is probably going to keep growing. Just like World War II, so much of society changed during that time, right? Like Rosie the Riveter, and this family patterns changed. I see that happening now. I don't know what the outcome is, right? But I think connections like you have with your boys and communication and things are going to stay.
Yeah, if the internet goes down at home, that's a crisis for sure. And I see that the boys just connecting. They play games I'm not allowed to play. I am. Oh, Papa, you're so slow. You keep dying. You know, the Fortnites and the well, even Forza, but they're playing that, driving those cars and chatting with each other at the same time, and I can't keep up, so I'm not invited, shall we say? But it is fun, and to use the technology for more than just work, you know, because it can't work all the time.
I know, right?
But times keep changing.
Times get changing, and then all of a sudden you think, I used to be the kid saying, you can't play with me when I was young, right?
Guilty.
Heavily into video games.
And it was a joystick at the time, right? Atari
with ping pong. I was thrilled to play the ping pong thing, you know?
Yeah.
That was like classic. And I showed my daughter, and she just looked at me in horror, and she's like, this was entertaining? And I'm like, yeah, you don't know the context. So let's just say it was. It was sort of like Minecraft for you today. And she's just looking at me like, God, you're weird, Mom. And I'm like, yeah.
It's good that we can still be weird to our kids.
Isn't it? Because where else, right? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's just a thing. And the other thing about communication, like just between the generation, that blows her mind. And I don't know if it does with the boys. She's like, so you only had one phone line in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I said, there was no call waiting. You'd get a busy signal. So if you were trying to call your friend and somebody else was on the phone, you'd get a busy signal and you'd have to call back. Well, could you hang out on the phone like I do on mine? Absolutely not. He said it was one for a whole household. And I said, plus Papa was a medical doctor on call. So if my dad was on call, everybody had to stay off the phone, because somebody's life was in danger if he got called into the hospital, and we couldn't jeopardize that, right? So I said, communication really has changed, honey. You have your own device that you get to do your own things, and that you use Snapchat all the time for your social circles, and that's
Yeah.
how they communicate. They don't text. That's so old days. So
Yeah, and the boys are doing online learning and with a friend. So they'll do a three-way call when they get online and do the work. They'll do a three-way call that'll last 2 or 3 hours, and they're just talking with each other from the boys' computers are in different rooms at home, and then their other friend, 3 or 4 way call while they all do their work together. And that call can go on for 2, 3, 4 hours as they throw a game or two in the inside. But
right.
you know, it is amazing what it is. And sometimes, as helpful as these things are, and yes, it is a 5S, um, the personal distraction devices, as I call them with the boys, but it's a tool. Do we use the tool, or does the tool use us? It's a fine line, regardless of whether it's a switch or a phone or a laptop. But yeah,
It is, and you're right. It is a tool, and how do we do it? Because, gosh, I've noticed the chores get done in my house a lot quicker if the phone gets turned off. So,
yes, indeed, indeed.
right?
Yeah, that's where I have power to turn off the internet.
I know. And then I hear, Mom, why did you do that? Well, because you're not helping me. So there you go. So
I
this
agree.
has been fun, David. I loved seeing the soccer stadium. What a creation. I mean, that's just so awesome that you guys did that together. What good memory making that you had.
It is. It is. And we still will go back and fire up Minecraft every once in a while and jump back in, and the excitement comes back. That's where, even for me, my pace, I talk faster, and I'm animated, I'm excited. Happens with the boys too. They didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we get excited on those. Well, it's the little things.
It is, and it's going to be what you look back with and at those bonding moments and go, okay, that's where we touch. That's where the connections.
Yeah. We hope. We'll see where it goes, but right now it's still fun.
It's good. It's all good. Well, thank you for being here today. It's been a blast.
My pleasure. It's good not to work
Isn't
for a
it?
little bit.
And laugh. Have some joy and to laugh. We need to do that more. So it's good.
Indeed. Thank you.
You're so welcome.